What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Kaylu,
And your boy ZB.
and we are back with another episode of Timeout. Let's get real. What's
Episode
good?
6.
Episode number 6. 6 of them things.
What's good with you, Kaylu?
Just
What's
living, chilling, vibing, thriving. That's
you
been my
still
new
ain't a baby
little.
mama out here, right?
Still not a baby mama. Still ain't got by nobody's irritating assumes. Okay.
Oh
No,
my gosh.
I'm
Well, how
single.
was your
Like
week?
I'm single, like so single that like that's not even possible right now. However, my week was good. Um, just been working for real, like, busy, booked and busy, unbothered. Wait, what is it? Booked, unbothered, booked, busy, unbothered. Yep, I think that's how it goes. Anyways, yeah, I just been like doing hair like crazy. Just got off work, 10 o'clock at night. Just got off work. And
I
yeah,
love it.
just get into the grind, get into the bag before summertime. And I really need to start going to the gym though. About to really lock in and like try to get back on keto and go to the gym, start tanning because I'm about to be outside, so I gotta be outside looking good. Even though it's a
I
little
feel
late,
you.
but my birthday's in
Oh yeah.
3 months, so
Well,
I
you got
can,
time for your birthday, but maybe
yeah,
not summer.
yeah, I can make some.
Same here.
I can make something shake, and I'm still a baddie. So regardless, no matter what, I still feel like that girl for real. I would say the other thing, but I won't. I'll keep it rated G.
Yes. Keep it PG here, please.
But how have you been, sir?
I have been lovely. Um, just this week was my 6 year anniversary. Actually, May 16th was my 6 year anniversary of moving down here. And shit, like I didn't even really realize that that was the day. And my brother sent me a text like, dang, bro, look how time flies. And it just got me really thinking about where I was then and where I
Yeah.
am now. Like it's the growth for me.
Oh, for sure. The growth
Like
is crazy.
you firsthand literally remember like the struggle period, like fresh out of high school,
Mm-hmm.
2013, 2014, 20 years old, really had nothing except for like a dead end job that made you miserable. It's like, yeah, I'll go to work, be late every day, by a minute or two, just not taking the shit seriously, just very miserable.
I just
Um,
want to put in retrospect really quick for the viewers or for the listeners, or the viewers, on YouTube. When he says like really had nothing, like, okay, let me just put this in perspective for you really quick. So on Wednesdays there was college. It's gonna be so bad. I'm telling y'all this story. There was college night at our like local club that we would go to, and him and his friend. I won't name his friend unless you want to name him. They would go donate plasma for $60 to get like a fresh tea and like some 40 ounces or whatever. So yeah, that's the level of struggle that we're talking here.
it's the fact that you put me on blast. Okay, so I was definitely struggling, like paycheck to paycheck for sure.
Dollar to
Um,
dollar.
had the cheapest rent when I actually had my own place, and still used to just complain every week, like paying all this rent. It was like $300 a month. Still, was just the end of the world. But yes, before I had a place at about 18, fresh out of
Mhm.
high school,
Mhm.
me and one of my homies, we did it 3 times. We got the 50 ball. We donated some plasma, but why not
It was for
donate
good cause.
and help somebody save somebody's life? How you gonna try to clown for doing something good for people?
I'm not clowning,
But
I'm just saying
anyways,
how in the trenches you really were. And don't get me wrong, I was there too. I said it in a previous podcast that I used to not even have enough money for a McDonald's sweet tea, which is a dollar
literally,
seven. So, like,
just
don't get me wrong, I've been there. Trust me. We
but
both been
like
there.
I just like really sat there and thought about it, like how far things have came from then to what they are now. Like moving here, I was, I have my brother and my mom here. They were already here, but there's not going to be any handouts. My brother's like, yeah, you can chip in on the rent and stay here. Cheap rent, of course, like pay the light bill. Just
Mhm.
get a job and work, get on your feet. I came down here, I was scared, literally packed everything that I had.
Mhm.
Well, that I didn't get rid of. Everything I had in two suitcases, sold my little beater car that hardly ran,
Yep.
came down here with two suitcases, uncertain of what was going to happen. Used to call you every day, just homesick, feeling
Mhm.
depressed for, for a good period of time, but like just kept grinding at it. Then the
Mhm.
next thing you know, got family,
Mhm.
got a home, don't own it yet, but working on it.
Yeah.
But like now I just have this great job where I literally started at this little warehouse job where I was like, this will last a couple months, maybe until I find something better at $11 an hour.
Mhm.
$11 an hour. I can't even fathom that.
Mhm.
And now it's just,
That
it's
used to be
still,
good though.
yeah, for sure, but not, it wasn't good. $300 a week, it's not cutting it. So,
Yeah.
especially when you work 6 or 7 hours of overtime, just
Yeah.
not cutting it. But now it's just like, I don't know. I just been grateful this week. Plus, I'm just selling stuff left and right. So it's just
Mhm.
jobs going very, very good. And it's lovely.
Definitely a
And it's just like,
blessing.
it made me think like a lot of the people who like we came up with and we used to run with and our homies,
Mhm.
I'm like so out of touch with them. You know what I mean? Like, because I came and made that change and it was the
Mhm.
best thing for me and I'm growing. I don't know what everybody else is doing. Everybody's growing and taking their own paths, but it's just like, it sucks being out of touch and out of sync with people, but it was the best thing for me. So I'm living very lovely now compared to what I was before. And then I look and I still see a lot of people doing the exact same thing. So it's like sad, but it's a reminder like, damn, I'm glad that I made this move.
Yeah, like kind of kind of stagnant. Um I
Hmm.
think it's crazy cuz you think, everyone has the same 24 hours in the day, right? So, you have the same 24 hours as the world's richest man or world's
Right.
richest female. Like, so it's a matter of, do you want to go after it? Do you want to get to the bag? How ambitious are you? For me, the sky's the limit. And people
Right.
sometimes think like, "Oh, I'm like cocky or something like that." No, like I'm just confident that this is what it's going to be and I'm going to get to the bread. Period.
For sure. Like, and that's kind of what I'm saying is like, I always knew that I was capable of, that things were going to get better at some point, but at that point I had no vision of what it could be.
Right.
And then literally, like, I just always had the mentality wherever I go, I'm going to grind and try to be the best at whatever spot I'm in. And that's usually how it turns out. That's not being like cocky. That's just
Yeah.
like, that's how I'm trying to work. If I'm not the best, like, what am I doing wrong? When I
Mhm.
got trained to install and do every little piece, I'm asking questions. I'm peeping everything so I can pick up on everything and learn and be the absolute best I can be. But other people be having that mindset or mentality like, oh, I'm just coming here, do what I have to do, and leave. They ain't trying to take
Right.
initiative to
Yep.
get to the next level.
Yeah. I think we're definitely very alike in that way. We both are like, how can we be the best at whatever we do? Not saying that we are the best, but we're definitely striving to
Right.
be the best in every single thing that we do. And a lot of our
For
friends are like
sure.
that, our really close friends. Like I feel like Lauren is that way, Dylan is that way as well. Like the people that we surround ourselves with probably the most when we see each other, are definitely go-getters. And like a lot of our conversations are about like how can we get rich? Like what's our next stream of
Right.
income? What's another way that we can make money and, like, actually enjoy ourselves while doing it? We have a lot of those conversations within our friend group, and then when you like, kinda sit back and listen, you're like, "Wow, how much things have
Yeah.
changed," you know?
Like, and that's what, like, you gotta definitely cut certain people out of your circle. Like, you want to surround yourself with the people who are like having those conversations. Like, what are you doing? Like, to make yourself better, to better yourself every day. What are you doing? How are you challenging yourself? Are you still doing the same stuff you was doing 3 years ago? Like, that's great. You, even if you have like a high position and you make good money,
Mhm.
it's just like that's kind of, I'm not really at a high position. I'm just in sales and I'm good at it, so I make a decent living. But it's like now that excuse me, now that I have that down, it's like I'm trying to literally find any other way that I can start making passive income and
Mhm.
make more money and be more successful. Have my own shit to
Yeah.
work on, to build on after work.
Right.
Because like when you're successful, but it's still not like your passion, like what fulfills you. Like I'm trying to
Mhm.
do other stuff now, like literally put my time and resources into other things and start generating some other type of wealth. And that's like the conversations that you want to hear your friends having.
Yeah.
And I have both. I have friends, I ain't naming no names. I have friends who we talk about like building up and helping one
Mhm.
another get to this goal, and other ones who just kind of like they complain about the situation that they're in,
Mhm.
but ain't really doing nothing outside of just showing up to work and work. They work hard. The particular
Yeah.
individual I'm talking about, they work hard. They're reliable, but it's like, what else are you doing outside of that? Like, you have to be ambitious and hungry.
Yeah, like, want more all the time. Do more, like,
Facts.
so if you're, like, offered overtime, work the overtime. Use your 9 to 5 to build your dream. Don't just continuously build somebody else's. And that's
Right.
what I think about, like, I remember when I started my lash company, I, I used my whole last paycheck. So I started hair school during the pandemic, used my whole last paycheck to buy all of my lash inventory. Launched my
Yeah.
LLC, built my website, was making money from TikTok, making money from sponsorships. That is what got me through hair school the entire time, was my eyelash company. That I invested my last paycheck because I couldn't do it all. So
Right.
that was a
So
blessing in disguise.
you have to take chances like that sometimes. Like, I feel like, and I think everybody has this, fear of like taking a chance or taking a risk, because like, okay, I understand what I have now and what I can make happen. I can survive with what I have, but if I risk it and it
Mhm.
doesn't go right, I'm going to be in a terrible situation. But I feel like everybody is literally like, they don't even know the level that they can get to unless their back is against the wall. If you take
Mhm.
that chance, it can change your life. Like, I heard, I think it was like Steve Harvey, he was saying, if you never jump off the cliff, you'll never have a chance for your parachute of abilities and skills to open. So if you never
Mhm.
take that leap, you'll never get a chance to fly, basically.
Yeah.
So you have to take chances and push yourself. Like earlier, it was today, this morning, I was at work and I was talking to the guys, the installers.
Mhm.
And like, I know the hard work that goes into that. I know the hours, 50 to
Mhm.
60 hours a week in the hot, hot Florida
Mhm.
sun, just day in and day out doing the same shit. And like, obviously, like, inflation has literally raised the cost of living 11% or something
Mhm.
like that in the US. And like, they're still making bullshit money. So everybody's like, the morale, the energy was so terrible in the office this morning. And I'm like, I like feel bad for the dudes, because it's just like, I can empathize. Literally, like, had I not got this opportunity to be
Mhm.
where I'm at now, which I worked for it,
You
but
did.
somebody else could have gotten the opportunity. And I'm not taking, these guys are solid, the ones I'm talking about. Like, they show up every day, day in and day out.
Mhm.
They're reliable. And it's like, I'm like feeling empathetic and like kind of sad, because like, this shit's fucked up, and companies out here are greedy, not trying to pay you what you're
Mhm.
worth,
Yep.
trying to be stingy. And it's like, installers, they literally see the amount of money that the
Yeah.
company's charging per job. So they
Yep.
see a $30,000 job they're installing, and they know what
Mhm.
they come home with. So it's just like, how am I supposed to live off this shit? Nobody wants to do this
Mhm.
if we ain't getting paid. Like, the world is crazy right now.
Yeah. It really is.
Gas is crazy as hell. Like, you have to really contemplate. I don't know if I'm about to go across town today, because gas is
Like,
$4.50 a gallon here.
literally.
And
Oh,
shit.
yeah. It's 4:43 here, and I
Yeah,
just saw a news article that said for the first time ever, I'm pretty sure in history, gas is $4 a gallon in every single state in the US for the first
it's
time. That
nuts.
means, like, Virginia. It's like
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
like
South
imagine
Dakota. Like,
Imagine like California and Las Vegas and
oh,
those types of
they're
places.
like
Like, it's six
$7.
something, $7.
Yeah, 6,
That's
7.
nuts.
Yeah.
And if you have
Diesel.
a truck or SUV,
Yep. Diesel's like 5, $6. It's insane. It is insane. And I just don't know who we're supposed to be blaming for these. Like, because they say it has nothing to do with like the president, but I just don't understand why every single time we have a Democrat president, our gas prices are almost $5 a gallon. Like, and I'm not trying to be funny when I
well,
say that, but if you look at the history of it, that
no,
truly
if you
is
look at
what
the
it
history,
is.
the last time gas prices were this high as
Was
was towards
Obama.
the end of no, it was towards the end of Bush's term, right before Obama came in. You can look
It
it
was
up. I've
Obama.
looked it up. It was Bush. literally towards the end of Bush's term, right before Obama had already won for the next election, but it was towards the end of Bush's term, and it doesn't even matter. The point is just like all of this is like
You don't
political
remember?
games.
I know gas was $5 or $4 a gallon when Obama was in president because I was driving Uber. And
He
it
came
was
in.
taking $65. No, I was not driving Uber when George W. Bush was president
Obama became president
in
right after George
2008.
W. Bush.
He came president in
Yes,
2008, right. And I was in high school
yes.
in his second term, which was what, 2014. And then I was graduate or
I'm telling
2018.
you, they might have gotten that high again, but I'm telling you,
Okay, yeah,
they
that's
were
what I'm
at that
saying.
they were at that price towards the end of Bush's last term. So Obama's coming into it with high prices. But I'm not getting into the political debate of Republicans this and Democrats this. I'm independent. I see
Right,
everything, and I it's all political games. So who do you blame? Do you blame the president? Do you blame the people who's sitting behind him? Because everything has to go through Senate and Congress,
right.
and whoever has the majority in the House is really who's calling the shots.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't understand. That's why I'm like, it's literally a genuine question as to like, who is it that we're supposed to blame and why does this always happen when it's a Democratic Party in office? I just don't understand.
But obviously,
And
there's some.
inflation is gas. It's crazy. So who do
Well,
we blame for that?
everything.
Because if he has nothing to do with any of this, none
No,
of
he
it.
has something. He has something to do with
But
it.
that's where they
I mean, the
play. Like
president
it
has
has
some
nothing to
power.
do. Like
The
so I
president
just don't
has some
understand.
power, but there's people too that are to blame in that same group. So either way, if gas prices go up, every type of material or good that you have that's driven in a truck goes up. It affects literally everything.
I think it's more or less I don't know if I think that's what it is, if it's so much gas prices, because gas prices have been this high. They've been this high when,
Hmm.
like I said, when Obama was the president or president. As that's when I can remember. Now, granted, I am only
Sure.
27 years old, so I cannot speak for every president in the US. Do not get me wrong.
Right. Well,
Um,
they ain't been higher than this before, so
right, but I do recall for a fact, I remember I used to spend like $60, $70 filling up my gas tank and when I was driving Uber,
mhm.
and that's why I could not drive Uber anymore because I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm spending $70 filling up my gas tank, making $100 that day, I'm profiting $30, and then I'm filling my gas tank up again the next day." It was just not feasible. Um,
Right. It's not
but
worth
at
it.
right, but at that time, rent wasn't going up skyrocketing. That's what I'm saying. So I think it's like because of COVID and like because of people having a lot of people didn't pay rent. The whole they had that COVID relief thing. So a lot of people weren't paying. You could live in that house for almost a whole entire year and not pay anything. Obviously, they're going to sue you for it at the end of it, but people like they couldn't kick them out, So and
Right.
then it was the housing market was crazy, so everyone's buying
Hmm.
houses for way more than they're worth, and then people are selling their house and moving into condos and apartments because they wanna profit
Yeah.
on selling their house. So now it's like now the all s and then something was going on with California to where everyone was moving to Texas and Florida from California, and I think
And New York.
Arizona.
It's because of the COVID. Like in Florida here, like I literally meet with people who are just buying their house, wealthy people.
Mhm.
Most of the people who have been moving here are from California and New York throughout the pandemic, and I'm assuming it's because the prices were going up and all of the restrictions that were there during COVID.
Yeah.
Like Florida is like its own damn country, just like they say about Texas. Like you see our governor, it goes different down here. We're not shutting down.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to move here. Everybody wants to live here. So like for the housing market, there's
Mhm.
way too many people, not enough houses. Stuff just
Yeah.
keeps going up. Even like Sarasota, I'm in the Sarasota area. Sarasota was always the expensive place. Now the suburbs around it are just about as high. Like there's nowhere to live. If
Yeah.
people can't afford to move out of their house, so you're stuck between, do I try to buy this house overpriced or do I just keep renting it for an astronomical price? Either way,
Yeah.
it's a lose lose if you don't have the resources. But like people from
Mhm.
New York and California, this is cheap compared to where they're coming from. So it's like
Mhm.
they can come down here, throw 40 to 50,000 more dollars in cash on the offer,
Yep.
and win.
And they don't care. That's like chunk change to them.
The
But
world
how
is literally crazy.
yeah, like houses are going off the market in literally like 4 hours. Like there's 5 offers in 4 hours. It's insane. It's crazy. Everyone's
Like
losing their mind.
everything that's going on, you can't find anywhere to live. Everything's becoming super expensive. Like it makes you think like what is happening. But I'll say after the years that we've been here, it seems like everything starts to happen around election time. I don't know if you've seen
Mhm.
all the crazy. There's been hella mass shootings in the last few days.
Mhm. Yeah, I just
Like
seen this article that said there has been 198 mass shootings in 2022 in 19 weeks.
I'm reading this right here. It says what they're considering mass shootings is people, four or more people have been killed or injured. There's been
Mhm.
201 shootings in 2022 so far. And literally, Buffalo just happened on May 14th.
Mhm.
Um, with Buffalo, there was um 13 people shot, all black folks, which was definitely like a hate crime.
Mhm.
Just crazy. 10 people were killed, though. 13 people shot. Um, I believe that's right. Then Laguna Woods, California,
Mhm.
another shooting took place there.
Was that at a church?
Houston, Laguna Woods was at a church. It was
Mhm.
at like a Taiwanese church. It was a Taiwan dude. I can't see how many people were injured. One person killed, four other members critically injured, and then Houston at like a flea market.
Mhm.
Two men were shot and three were critically wounded. Milwaukee, May 13th, at least 21 people were wounded. And this was at like the nightclubs, which I know that
Mhm.
resonates with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about that, but
Yeah, so
um, it reminded me of the situation that you went through.
yeah. Um it's really heartbreaking to see all of the mass shootings, especially myself being a mass shooting survivor. Um, I can't really put into words how, like, literally traumatizing it is. And when you've went through something like that, every time you hear it, like you're it's like a punch in the gut. Just because you can physically put yourself back in that exact situation. Now, they're happening so often that it's almost like, wow, this is crazy that this is something that's happening, like, often. Now, I still don't think there's a mass majority of the population who has experienced and or survived a mass shooting. Obviously, yes, they
Mhm.
are more. They're definitely happening a lot more. It's so scary, like, going to the grocery store, going to a concert, going to the flea market, to church, anywhere that there's like a big mass amount of people. Sometimes it's little, like a little amount. I can't fathom what the hell goes through their heads. Like, I don't understand. And then um this, like, the supermarket with the 10 African Americans who were killed. He literally wrote Dylan Roof's name on the gun. I'm pretty sure Dylan I now don't quote me, but Dylan Roof, I think he's the one with the bowl cut. And I think he went into a church and I think he killed black
Mhm.
people. I could be wrong.
Yep.
I know someone did that. I'm not sure if it was Dylan Roof, but I believe it
Yeah, I
was.
believe so.
He
Believe
had,
so.
I don't even know if you know this part. He had the N word with like the hard ER written on the barrel of his gun. Um, and he accidentally almost shot a white man and apologized. I also want to mention that he was live on Twitch this entire time. The whole
Now
time that,
this is the Buffalo one.
yes, he was live on the internet doing this entire thing, pulling up, I mean, everything. They don't have, obviously they took it down, so it's no longer,
Right.
but they were playing little snippets of it. Um, so my personal experience becoming a mass shooting survivor, it was my birthday. I was out celebrating with my friends. I feel like I can never breathe when I tell this story. So if my breathing is like
Mhm.
heavy, it just, I'm not like gonna be emotional, but it just like makes, I don't know, it's like weird to talk about. But so I was out with my friends and we were at the Oregon district in Dayton. And it's funny because all of my friends really bailed on me for dinner, right? So I was supposed to be with like 15 people. Everyone bailed besides my two friends, Allie and Keely. And they really didn't want to go out, but they were like,
Mhm.
oh, well, everyone else has kind of like left us. So, or left her. So I guess we kind of have to go out until her work friends get here. So
Right.
it was like everything that day went wrong, steering me not to go. But I was like, whatever. So put on my Instagram story, come to the Oregon District tonight. We're celebrating my birthday, blah, blah, blah. So we get there, everything's good. Um, and it's hot. I mean, it's packed in there like sardines. So I literally have a snap video 3 minutes before the shots began. And I'm just dancing. We're all vibing. You just see how many people, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Well, come to find out, the shooter had gone to the bar across the street and actually been inside of the bar that we were in. Um, he came, his name was Connor Betts. Yeah. He came completely prepared. He had body armor, basically like essentially the same thing as the Buffalo shooter. He had
Mm-hmm.
body armor. His sister was there with him. Um, and so I tell my friends, I'm sorry, I'm like, I might move all over the place because I don't have an exact way to like tell the story and just like
Right.
tell it.
Well, just
But
just in your best way, give us like your experience because
yeah,
like you're in the moment.
yeah. So I turn to my friends and I'm like, I'm gonna go on the front patio and I'm gonna get some air. And they're like, okay, well, I happen to see my cousin's ex girlfriend, Kayla. And Kayla starts yelling my name. She's like, Katie, Katie, Katie. And so I turn and I see her and I give her a hug and she tells me happy birthday. And as we're hugging, this group of guys is like pushing us. And I push them back because I'm thinking they're fighting. So I'm like, why are you guys pushing us? And then you hear like the rapid hundreds and hundreds of gunshots. Like now the bar that we're in, it's very open, so it's a double door bar and then there's two garage doors open. So the gun he's coming
Mm-hmm.
from the right side and the cops are on the left side. So the cops are shooting at him. He's shooting towards them, but he's shooting everyone. So he ends up killing 9 people. The first person he shot and killed was his sister. So he killed his sister, shot her boyfriend. Um, and then obviously that's another thing. The police, like, fortunately for me, I'm alive today because of the Dayton Police Department. Like, hands down,
Mm-hmm.
had he made it inside of that nightclub, it would have been no matter what the most catastrophic mass shooting in history. He had 250 rounds of ammo put in that AK whatever. Like, it would have been the most catastrophic. I mean, the way that we were in there, the amount of us that was in there, like all he would have had to done was had he even made it through the doors, he died in the doorway of the bar, like 5 to 7 feet from me. I saw him when the shot started. I obviously fell on the ground, and people were like throwing other people on top of them. People were running.
Like using other people as shield and shit.
Yes, because at this
Damn.
point, it's every person for themselves, and no one knows. I'm here to tell you that no one has any idea how they're going to react until they're in that exact moment. So you could
For
say,
sure.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be the hero. Like, but I will say, Jeremy, the bouncer, the door bouncer, like 100% was there to save our lives. And he did not care what came with that. And he was the last
Right.
person that Connor looked at dead in the eyes before he was killed. And Jeremy reacted so calmly, like almost like he had been in this. I don't know if he's in the military, maybe had been through something like this, but
Mm-hmm.
just the way he reacted was so like, I mean, he's looking around the door, walking on his talk, like walking, talking, telling them like where the shooter is. Like just so
Right.
calm. The cops are tripping. Everyone's running everywhere. Everyone's
Yeah.
screaming. The whole floor is covered in blood. Um, because everyone's running out of their shoes. They're dropping everything. So all the glass, there's phones, wallets, purses, shoes, like you literally just like
Yeah.
literally run for your life.
Just absolute chaos.
Yeah.
And like I can't even imagine how that feels. Like you always give me a hard time because I don't show up for your birthday and this was for your birthday and
Mhm.
thank God for whatever reason I wasn't able to show up for your birthday because you know how I am in the bar. I'm shots, turning
Mhm.
up, getting turned. I might have been lingering around. Thank God whoever didn't go, thank God they weren't there.
Mhm.
For those that were there, I mean, I hope they've been able to heal the ones who made it out. And
Yeah.
just like for all the mass shootings, like it's just like all you can do is just there's no words to console people who lost somebody for some senseless shit, like some hateful,
Yeah.
hateful person like that. Just I don't see how you could have it in you to just literally go and just kill people you've never even met, you've never even
Mhm.
seen a lot of the time. Like it's
Mhm.
one thing to take up an issue and to harm anybody in general, even if you have an issue with them, but you're taking
Mhm.
names and victims, people you don't even know, ruining people's lives.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like literally, like so much collateral damage. And then it's just like shout out to the police. Like imagine in a
Mhm.
situation like that where you have a large crowd of people. Shout out to Jeremy
Mhm.
too for putting his life on the line.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Dayton police
Mhm.
for handling that, and for every situation like this where the police have to put their life on the line literally
Mhm.
and make their best judgment call. There's hundreds of people there and you're shooting at
Thousands.
somebody.
So many.
If people are in close proximity, somebody might get hit. So you're now thinking like, do we take him out now and basically run the chance of a couple more people getting hurt rather than 50 hundreds? Like
Mhm.
you have to like take the approach that has the least risk, and still people may get hurt or killed. Like it's just
Yeah.
I can't even imagine going through that situation. And
Right.
like I don't know what after that looks like. So like after you went through that,
Mhm.
how like how did you move forward? Like how do you move forward from that? How can you continue to live life normally? How do you get back to where like you feel comfortable, because you've been back to that place since, right? Like
Mhm.
how what was the process like?
Um, so basically, I didn't realize that I had, so first of all, I truly believe that Kayla is the person who saved my life. Uh, also, a couple months prior to this situation, I had gone to a medium. I'm not getting off topic. I'm going to answer your question, but I do want to add this in so I don't forget. A couple of
Right.
months prior, I had went to a medium, and a lot of you don't know, but my boyfriend was murdered in 2015. That's a story for another day. But I go to mediums because he'd be on his own and shit. So I would be like, what is he trying to tell me? So I go to this medium, and my grandfather actually comes through. And the medium's like, he keeps saying August 4th, 24, August 4th, 24. And I'm like, well, I'll be 25 on August 5th. And she's like, no, he's saying August 4th, 24, August 4th, 24. Write that down. That's going to mean something someday. So it was like everything in the world was telling me not to go there that day. And then I did go. And then
But
it was
you
like,
had thought about that. Had you had thought about, did you put
no,
two and two together before or
no,
not till
not at
after?
all. Not at all. I had everything because while I was on the phone with the medium, I was writing notes. So I had it in my
Right.
notes. So I was seconds. I was literally seconds away from that balcony where people were killed, right?
Right.
And then the fact that everything happened wrong that day that was supposed to lead me not to be there. And seconds before, I hear, Katie, 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 like yelling for me. As I'm hugging her, boom, shots fired. Like I just can't put it into word. Like, so I'm talking to my mom and she's like, didn't Papa say something? I'm like, hold on, let me look. And I go through the notes and I like, and she's like, what? And I said, it says August 4th, 24. And it was 23 hours before my 25th birthday. I was 24 years old on August 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Almost before, right. I could have, like, the thing that was so crazy. My birthday was so emotional that year because my parents were just like, you could literally be dead right now. And then everyone in the city is
Mm-hmm.
talking about it. So we're at Hibachi and the people across from us are talking about it. And my dad's like, "Hey, could you not talk about that? Like she was there last night." And then, I'm like my grandma calls me. Oh, this okay, sorry. um my grandma calls me and every year my grandparents sing me happy birthday like on the phone.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And when she called me, I literally started bawling because it was like I really could have not been here this year to hear this. And my brother was just like, "Oh god," like cuz I don't get emotional for real. And
Yeah.
so like Corbin was like, "Oh god, like it's gonna be okay, it's okay." And he's like trying to like console me, because
Mm-hmm.
that moment is when it really hit me. Like, and my parents were already crying like so much already just because of it. And
Mm-hmm.
then like
Right.
so basically the aftermath of that, we went to Niagara Falls for my birthday couple weeks after, and we were at a bar downtown, and there was a baseball field across the street from where we were. And at baseball games when they get home runs or whatever, they or at the end of the
Yeah.
games they do fireworks. Um,
Mm,
so I heard the fireworks, but I couldn't see them, and it was a grand finale, so it was like like the same sound. And I just like stop in my tracks walking, and my mom's like, it's fireworks," and like my throat is
same.
closing, and I'm like, tears are like coming out, but I'm not making any noise. And my parents are like,
Right.
you have to breathe, like, come on, you have to breathe. I literally was having an entire panic attack. I didn't know. I've always heard like about PTSD, but I didn't really know that. I don't know. I guess I didn't know that was a thing. I mean, I knew it was a thing, but like sounds and smells is what trigger
Yeah.
PTSD.
And it smells the same. Fireworks smell similar too.
Yeah. Um,
So it's
it was
mm,
because I couldn't see them. So I heard them, but I couldn't see it. So I couldn't put two and two together. I eventually did like calm down, but I was fortunate enough to have that experience because the shooting happened on August 4th, 1 month after July 4th. A lot of the survivors, most of the survivors had no idea they had PTSD until July 4th of 2020. And I heard
right.
multiple stories of people having panic attacks, putting it puts you back in that exact place, that sound, the repetitive, like I can't put it into words how it was like like just constant bullets. And
And and this is over all the loud music and noise in there as
yes,
it is, and you still heard it.
but it was because he was shooting one way and the cops were shooting another. We thought he was inside. So I thought he was inside of the bar. I thought he was shooting
Hmm.
at us inside. Like it didn't sound outside to me. So I fell on the ground and I called my mom instantly when I was on the ground and I told her like
Hmm.
I'm about to die. Like that's just what it was. And I was 100% this was it. And I was
Right.
waiting essentially to get shot because in my mind he's standing over us and he's just spraying.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I also didn't want to put my head up to look because if he was, I didn't want to be in crossfire and
Yeah.
like
What do you do? Like,
exactly.
so basically, he was spraying at the police once they started shooting at him.
Mhm. He wasn't even inside of the bar, it just sounded like he was because, like I said, the police were shooting from one distance, from one way of the door, and he was shooting from the garage door, so it was all crossfire in front of the bar, and then he
So did
turned into the doorway.
so he never actually really stepped all the way into the bar. He was shooting inside the bar from outside,
He
and
was
then the
not he
police.
he was shooting on the sidewalk. He was shooting to get into the bar, so
Mm,
he was spraying people to get into the bar, and he died in the doorway of the bar, inside the double doors. Now, had the cops not shot and killed him then, I don't know what they would have done because they would have been shooting at the crowd. The moment he would have made it through
right.
that door, there was no cop inside. So, they would have had to have been shooting at us to get him, and that was the biggest
Right.
thing. It was like, if he makes it inside of this door, it's over for
And
everyone.
you know how quick that response had to be for them.
Yeah, but
Literally, like
when you're
it
laying
seems
there,
like forever. It
it
seems like forever.
seems
I'm sure.
it seems like a lifetime, especially when you
Yeah.
know there's so many cops outside because the place that we were, there's always cops downtown.
There's always
Always.
think and since then there's probably always more now. Like
Yes. I'm on the phone with my mom and I'm like, she's like, my dad's calling the cops. I call my mom, I call her twice and she answers and everyone's screaming and she hears all the bullets or all the shots and she's like, get on the ground, like cover yourself. And I'm like, I'm on the ground. And like, they're just like telling you like, I love you, da da da, because you don't
they
know.
don't know at all. Like yeah,
Yeah.
you don't know. They don't know.
I didn't know. I just thought someone was shooting at us. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know if it was a drive by. I didn't know until I woke up the next morning and Donald Trump was on the news talking about it and he was on his way to Dayton. And it was also the same day as the El Paso Walmart shooting.
Hmm.
It was the same day.
It's crazy.
So there's two big, huge mass shootings in one day. And I just want to say, like, if you've ever personally survived a mass shooting, I feel for you. I know. what you're going through. And I'm sorry, and that should have never. I wish that I could take that pain away from everyone because it's really fucked up, essentially. So,
So did you ever get like therapy or anything
oh,
from that? Like,
I was in therapy within 24 hours of the shooting. I was at my therapist. I texted her. I said, "Hey, I need an appointment." She said, "Okay, when?" I said, "I survived the mass shooting last night." And she said, "I have a 2-hour appointment available for you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m."
wow.
Yeah, that was well. It was on Monday morning, so because obviously Saturday was when the mass shooting was. So 20 about yeah, a little bit over 24 hours after. I've been in therapy already from my boyfriend passing away. So this was just like it was hard, and then you have anxiety, you're paranoid, and then I just felt so bad that my friends were there and they didn't want to be there. Like, they wanted to go home, they were not trying to be there,
Right.
and so, then they had to endure that, but I will say, all my friends who flaked, I'm glad that they did because they would have never been the same ever, and the people who were there with me are really strong-minded, like, females who really, um, can recover in some way, shape, or form. They're not gonna be like,
hmm
they're really strong females, like and so, Keely and Allie, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry that you had to almost die for me, but I'm
Well,
glad you made
shit.
it out.
Well, prayers and condolences to all of the people who were lost, the people who, the families of those who were lost, the people who have to mourn that. And that's one thing that is very rarely mentioned.
Mhm.
Prayers and healing to all the people who have lived through it and had to witness it, because that can scar you for life.
Yeah.
Everybody handles trauma differently. So it's like,
Mhm.
you can't really tell somebody how to grieve a death or how to recover from a situation that's so tragic. So
Yeah.
prayers to everybody involved.
Yeah.
That was
I
heavy. That was
Yeah,
heavy.
very
We're on
much
our
so.
serious pod stuff today, but
Yes.
hey, sometimes it has to be like that. Like, you can't. That's the problem. Is so many things like that. Like, we heard about Buffalo, but how many 201 where we don't hear about them. All
Mhm.
these shootings, we don't hear about them unless they're like mainstream. Like, what
Yeah.
qualifies like a tragic event as reportable? Why don't
Yeah.
we hear about more of it? And maybe it's like some media control. It's weird how everything happens, like, and so many happen like right in like the little cluster of time that it happens in.
Yeah.
But
It's like every day. I just don't understand, like, I can't grasp the thought, and it's just and then a lot of the things they keep saying is like, "Oh, they don't always die." Like, they always allow these people to live. Like, a big thing with the Buffalo one is like how I don't know how he survived, but all I can say is I'm so thankful they shot my mother 64 sometimes. 60 they lit him up and
hmm
he
yeah,
yeah. And
yeah, they and
imagine being Connor
sometimes
Betts's
they
parents,
handle
you know?
that. That's
You
horrible. Like,
like, I just wanna say this, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanna say he killed like, he got himself killed, obviously suicide by cops, and then killed his sister.
yeah,
His parents lost both of their children at the hands of their son in one day, and not only that, they have the media outside of their house. Trump is here talking about him. Like, are you kidding me? Your son ruined your entire life in a matter of
yeah.
3 minutes. Killed his own sister. I just can't. I cannot fathom it.
Well, I'm just glad that he was handled how he was handled in that situation, because like
They all should be handled that way.
a lot of them survived. Yeah, Dylan Roof, for example, this man, they handled him with care. He had the audacity to ask them to take him to get something to eat on the way to getting locked up. I
He
don't know if you
got
heard that, but yeah,
Isn't he the one that they put in a I think they put him in a, bulletproof vest. I'm pretty sure they did.
they handle him with care. The
Yeah.
dude from the Buffalo has pled not guilty
He has lost his
already.
mind. He's crazy. He just wants to be famous. That's all it is. And that's what
Insanity has
sucks.
no excuse for
He's
that.
not insane. He's not insane. He
Yeah,
was
but that's
live
the only
streaming.
fight that you can try to. Yeah, that's the only fight that you can try to do, and there's no
He
excuse.
will never He has a black judge. He has a black judge doing his case. He will never see the light
Well,
of day ever again in a million years. Ever.
well, I hope not.
He will never. What?
I
Do you
hope not.
like what he had written on the barrel of his gun? Like, come on. You came ready and prepared. No, like, absolutely not. He will not. I wanna know why.
Well, we'll
I kinda
see.
wish Connor would have survived so he could, explain why, but it didn't. I don't know. A sick
You could just never
individual.
make it. You can never make it make sense. All these people are sick to something like an average person like us could never do something so horrible
Yeah,
to anybody, not even to just one person. Like it's just, you can't even wrap your head around it.
no.
Another thing that's crazy though, getting to I guess a lighter subject, although this is crazy too.
Mhm.
Did you watch Our Father?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
This can go more into the mishandling of like how our justice system is set up. You mean to tell me that you can do what this man, Donald Klein, did and legally not really have any implications other than lying on the documents they sent you?
Literally. Literally.
Like, are we going full blown into it? We told people to watch last pod, so it's like
Yeah. Okay, so he ended up having 94, I believe, children
94
and
and
counting.
counting.
So
He
and
said it was
counting.
no more than we only do
10.
three people. We only do three. Then it was no more than 10. Then it was no more than 15. Then it's like sibling 26.
And then it's like sibling 84. And then you're like, "Oh my gosh, like what is going on?" He's crazy. He's crazy. And then he's like, "I did
So
nothing
it's
wrong. I was doing them a favor." Like that's really how he thought of it.
yeah. So spoiler alert. If you haven't watched, we're sorry. If you haven't watched, click pause now. But I'm about to say this was basically about a fertility doctor who was like early in his time. Like he was the first one who was renowned for basically helping women get pregnant,
Mhm.
whether you had a sperm donor or whether your husband and uh, a husband and wife, their natural intercourse wouldn't, for some reason, it wouldn't take.
Mhm.
He would literally take. He was like a sperm bank, basically. He
Mhm.
would inject the females and get them pregnant,
Mhm.
but instead of using the actual donor
Spouse.
sample that he told them or the spouse that some
Mhm.
people thought they was having children by their husband,
Yeah.
and this man was going into the room, getting one off, and injecting these women with his own semen.
Mhm. Yeah.
Not once, not twice, not 10 times, 94
94.
and counting.
But that's
There are
only
94
let's
people. And
that's only the ones that
that's
took.
only what they found. How many people are like, "Oh, I was like, damn, a lot of people was just requesting to do their family tree and do the ancestry or whatever it was. I'm like, people don't just be like, get me a DNA test for Christmas. What?
Yeah, they do. My brother did
But
one.
anyways, like, oh, well,
Yeah. But,
shout
like,
out to your brother.
for
But
and his
it's
wife, I
not
think,
like your
got it.
average person's thought.
I think his wife got
I
it for
mean,
him
if
for
you want to know
Christmas.
about your family,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's like, okay, learn your roots. Where are you from? Ireland or wherever. But like, it's like, oh, you have 3,000 hits, 94 half siblings. What? Like,
Can you
Indianapolis
imagine?
is Indianapolis isn't a small city by any means. That's the capital of Indiana, but it is the capital of Indiana, right?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
believe so. Anyways, it's not a super large city, so when you're talking about 94 siblings in one little range,
Yeah. They were scared they were scared they were, like, gonna procreate with one of their siblings. And then, like
one of those women on there, one of the women on there,
oh my gosh, he does
this
just fake
woman
cry.
was born not knowing that she was Donald Klein's daughter.
Mhm.
And the worst part about it, hey, I want him to be my OBGYN too,
Yes,
mom.
yes.
So her father was the one that was doing her checkups
Mhm.
and looking at her business.
Mhm. Yeah.
Ooh,
It's
that's the
crazy.
worst one.
Yeah, but there was that
Like,
one
it's
lady
crazy.
where she said that I believe, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure she said that she did inseminations or what's the word? You know what I'm talking about.
Insemination or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where they insert it into you 15 times and it finally took. Do
Yes,
you remember
that's
that
another
one?
one.
Yes,
This
and she
man
was like, "He did it to
15
me
times.
15 times." And I
I
think
was
he
doing it to help people.
and then he wanted to know what the kids' occupations were. Basically wanted to see, like, how I'm assuming he knew what his sperm count was because it must be super high. He must have,
Right.
like, some real good sperm, like, and he must have known that. So that's why if he kinda felt like it wasn't gonna take, he was like, well, I guess I'll just give mine."
And like and I might be twisted for this, but like watching it, I'm like, okay, so you can hate this man, especially if you're in a situation where you have a father in the house who you thought was your biological father, and he did this, but at the same time, like you were also born because of him. You wouldn't be here
Mhm.
if it wasn't for him doing that. You know what I mean? So it's like it's so sick. It's so mentally
Yeah.
twisted. It's just crazy. And
Yeah.
all of them, like they was all like very passive and soft when addressing them face to face.
Mhm.
Jacoba over here talking
Yeah.
about like, well, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'll be like,
Is she
man, go
number
straight to
1?
hell. I'm trying to. She was like the main one, I
Is
think. I
she
don't
the
know if she
first
was
sibling?
number one. I think so. I think she was the first one that was introduced.
Because I
Introduced. She
remember
was probably not the oldest.
every time they got a match, she would message and she would be like, "Hello, I'm your half sibling. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. Reach out to me whenever you're ready." She was the
That's
first
it's
one
just crazy.
to reach out to all of them.
I I love shows like that, but damn, what a story! Like,
Yeah, I
could you
wanna
imagine?
see
That's just crazy.
I wanna see what they all look like in order. I wanna see a lineup of them.
You probably can online,
Wouldn't that be
but
interesting?
like
They should have showed them all. They should have done
that's
a reunion and gotten all of them there and showed it at the very end.
well, I'm sure that show did numbers, so who knows what else is going to come. But the show was basically like the end result. The lawyer, the justice system doesn't even do nothing.
Yeah.
Basically, like 2 years because you lied on the document that we sent you.
He didn't even get jail time. I think it was probation, like 2 years probation.
Yeah, yeah. Like in a $500 fine, and this man just walked out on his cane, and it turned out like they were mentioning that like little like cult that he was part of or whatever, where he's
Mhm.
trying to create white, blonde, blue-eyed children and all that, which made perfect sense.
Yeah. People
And
are
that's why I want to
sick.
know all their occupations and like how elite his race is. All of them had most of them had
Autoimmune disease or something.
autoimmune diseases and stuff. Just very
Issues.
vulnerable. That would be a problem.
Yeah.
That would be, yeah, wowzers. And they're sitting here like, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not trying to do this to you, Jacoba. Like, why are you playing so nice with this man?
Right. Literally, he's like, "It's not everybody's business. Everyone doesn't need to know." Classic narcissistic behavior.
The husband's finding out and stuff. Like, that's reasons for some. That's a reason for somebody to potentially lose their life right there.
Yeah. What? Because
Like, what?
these kids grew up their whole lives thinking that their dad was their dad and their dad was not their dad, and now it's like, "What do I know? My whole life has been a lie." I can't imagine that. I thought that was gonna happen to me, but it turns out my dad is 100% my dad, so like, not because he doesn't look exactly like me or anything, but I don't know, I just always thought that I don't know, I always thought, like, my life was gonna be, like, way more interesting than that, but than just regular, but I always thought also that someone was gonna, like, knock on our door one day and be like, "I'm your sister,"
Hey,
because,
now
like
that's not that out of the norm. Find out find out that pops has a whole nother family and stuff. That is not that crazy.
well, that's
But
just because
to
my
find out,
dad in high school was, like, a little one of our friends actually, dad ended up not even knowing that he got this girl pregnant in high school, and this girl messaged him, is like, "Hey," actually, one of our best friends' dads, girl messaged him like, "Hey, I think you're my dad." And he's like, "Huh?" And she's looks exactly like him.
I
Exactly
have no
like
clue who
him.
you're talking about.
Dre. Dre's dad. Dre has an older
Oh,
sister. That's where his niece comes
oh
from. Yeah,
shit.
she's 33 or she's like 34 now, 35, I think. Don't quote me. She's in her 30s for
Huh.
sure. But he had no
Yeah.
idea that
Now
he had a
that
daughter.
that can happen, and it ain't nobody's fault when they don't know.
Yeah.
But
She
it's crazy because that type of stuff really be happening. Like
yeah.
sometimes, especially back in that time, like a girl may get pregnant, but dude done already moved on, not knowing.
Mhm.
And she's like, I'm not going to tell them.
Yeah,
You know, like they keep
that's
it
what
a secret,
happened.
raise them on their own. Pride is a
The
bitch.
girl's mom made her move away because I
Mm-mm-mm.
believe her mom was white. I think.
Ah,
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong on that part. But either way, her mom made her move away. I could be wrong. I think I'm wrong on that part. I'm not 100%. But either way, her mom made her move away, and that's when she gave birth. And yeah, just never said nothing about it. But anyway, that's going to go ahead and conclude this week's episode. Do you have anything that you want to add, ZB, before we close out?
um, well, shoot. To everybody, first off, everybody keep tuning in. We appreciate all the love, all the feedback has been great. I think I've been our biggest critic so far, but we appreciate all the support. Go follow your boy on TikTok at It's Your Boy ZB. And then
Yeah.
what's your handles?
My handles are the official Kalu on IG, Kalu on YouTube, and our personal YouTube channel is Timeout Let's Get Real Podcast. Our personal TikTok is Timeout Let's Get Real. And my personal TikTok is Kalu underscore underscore. And as always, if you guys have any advice or topics you would like for us to speak on, or if you have an opinion on this week's episode and you would like for us to read it in next week's episode, please go ahead and let us know. Our email address is timeoutletsgetreal@gmail.com. And we would love to hear from all the listeners, whether you have questions for us, advice, things you would like to hear, our input on, different perspectives, whatever that may be. Um, we would love to hear from you. Like I said, timeoutletsgetreal@gmail.com. And thank you all.
Email us, hit us up. Thank y'all for listening.
See
This
you.
was a serious pod,
Yes.
and sometimes you have to have them. Next week, we back to some funny shit.
Yes. And thank you guys for listening. See you next week. Bye.